An end to supply of parts for the F-35 jets. Kier Starmer went there and rather bizarrely said, "There's lots going on here I'm not able to talk to you about." I think it's time that he was in front of a court where he'd be forced to answer those questions.
We're here today because the UK government continues to supply weapons to Israel, even as it commits relentless and ruthlessly imposes famine on Gaza. What is happening in Gaza defies belief. Leading jurists, legal experts, and scholars across the UK and internationally have been clear. This is textbook genocide. Just last week, Joseph Borrell, the EU's former top diplomat, called it such and described it as the largest ethnic cleansing operation since the Second World War. We are seeing families burned alive in tents, amputations without anesthesia, and children's malnourished bodies no longer able to heal from the wounds inflicted on them by Israel. Orphans are surviving alone amongst the ruins, and entire families are being annihilated in their homes. And yet, the UK government invokes international peace and security to justify sending parts for Israel's warplane of choice, the F-35. How can the arming of a genocide contribute to international peace and security? Whose peace and security do these weapons serve? In his former life as a human rights lawyer, Kier Starmer was himself arguing in front of the International Court of Justice in 2014 that genocide had been committed by Serbia against Croatia between 1991 and 1995. And he described in his own words, and I quote, "a sustained campaign of shelling, systematic expulsion, denial of food, water, electricity, sanitation, and medical treatment, bombing, burning, brutal killings, and torture which reduced buildings to rubble and destroyed its population." Those words could easily describe the situation in Gaza now. And yet today, as a political leader, Starmer refuses to admit what is clear, that the crime of crimes is occurring in Gaza. So we gather here today, outside the Royal Courts of Justice, to reject these legal absurdities and affirm what jurists, scholars, and genocide experts around the world already recognize. Gaza is enduring a genocide, and a state like the UK have to end their support for Israel. Whatever the court decides, we are here to say to Kier Starmer and his colleagues, through your military support for Israel, you are complicit.
Yes. Yeah.
You will be held to account. We are proud to support Al-Haq in bringing this case, and we thank the public, all of you, for standing on the side of justice. Thank you.
Britain keeps on saying that it has a security cooperation and arrangement with Israel. They refuse to answer questions from me and from others as to what the Royal Air Force Base at Akrotiri is being used for, why there are so many hundreds of flights taking off from it, what are they carrying, where are they going, why are they happening. They won't answer those questions. Kier Starmer went there and rather bizarrely said, "There's lots going on here I'm not able to talk to you about." Well, if he's not able to talk to us about it, then I think it's time that he was in front of a court where he'd be forced to answer those questions. Because I've just had enough of the behaviour of the British government in all of this. At every time that we've demanded a suspension or an end to the arms sales, David Lammy came back eventually and said they were suspending 30 licences without telling us what those licences were and maintaining 300 other licences. When we demanded an end to supply of parts for the F-35 jets, they announced that they couldn't stop that because it would halt the global supply chain of F-35 jets. Seems a strange argument, but there you are, that's what he said. And so the next question was, well, is the supply chain so inefficient you don't know where the parts are going? And no answer came to that. Then eventually they said, this they told me last week, they would no longer supply parts for F-35 jets directly to Israel, but they would supply them into the global supply chain, which is a piece of obfuscation that's worthy of any barrack room lawyer. Ridiculous nonsense. Actually, they're still supplying parts for F-35 jets. They are complicit in the bombardment of Gaza, in the killing of children and the killing of people all over Gaza. This generation, our generation here today, are witnessing one of the most vile crimes in history as the Palestinian people are being obliterated by the world's arms dealers and arms suppliers and the Israeli Defense Force. So the case we're taking to the court today is part of that campaign for justice for the Palestinian people. We've all got to do all we can, wherever we can, whenever we can. That means court cases, that means questions in Parliament, that means demonstrations, that means support, and above all, it means supporting and understanding the way in which the whole identity and culture of the Palestinian people is under threat. So let's extol the Palestinian people, their history, their culture, their presence, their music, their poetry, their art, all of these things, because that is all part of it. And so today, we're outside the Royal Courts of Justice. It's a beautiful morning. It's a lovely spring day in London. In your mind, just transfer yourself now to Gaza City. Just in your mind, transfer yourself to the rubble you would see on each side of the street as you tried to walk down it. Transfer yourself to hungry children desperately looking for a morsel of anything to eat. People desperately thirsty, unable to get clean water. Those in pain, unable to get any help or treatment. And just so in case the British government and the Israeli government have missed the message, we are not going away. We are staying with the Palestinian people as long as it takes. We'll be demonstrating, we'll be marching, we'll be meeting, we'll be demanding, and we'll be exposing the complicity of the British government with the genocide in Gaza. Thank you.
The UK government is complicit in the killing of children. As someone who lost over 80 members of his family, I'm here to tell the British government that the blood of our children is in their hands, that the weapons that they send to Israel is tearing our children apart every day, that the military cooperation they have is starving our children to death. You heard some testimonies. It's just the tip of the iceberg of the things that we've been documenting at Al-Haq. Anything you would hear about the situation supposed to shock human consciousness. Yet the British government acts as they don't see or understand the situation. But the most important message here, I think that despite everything we've been through, despite the loss, the pain, the agony, the dehumanization by the Israeli government, but also by the British government, by extension, by continuing these arms exports, despite all of this dehumanization, we refuse but to hold on to our humanity. We refuse but to show up here and believe in justice. We refuse but to believe in the rule of law. The UK government prides itself as a bastion of liberty, democracy, and international law. It prides itself as one of the architects of the world order that we had after World War II, as the protector of the promise of never again. Well, now they're actually not honoring this promise. We're here to tell the British government what they're doing is not only betrayal to the Palestinian people and their rights, it's also a betrayal to the promise of never again. Starmer, his government, and the previous government, they're complicit in the crimes against the Palestinian people. They have blood of Palestinian children on their hands, and history will not be kind to them, and they're failing humanity, and again, they're failing the promise of never again. Thank you.
I'm going to read now from a witness statement dated the 16th of July, 2024. On December the 25th, 2023 at 9:30 p.m., after having dinner with my family and praying, I walked from the living room to the room I was staying in, which was my bedroom before I got married. I was about to sit on my bed when I saw a red light. I didn't hear or see anything else, and suddenly found myself under the rubble of the house. It was dark, and I couldn't see or hear anything, or breathe. After some time, I started to hear a voice saying, "Mum, Mum." I tried to respond to the voice, but I couldn't breathe. I felt my body start to move downward with the bricks of the house. After I felt that the bricks were stable, I took a small one and started to knock around, hoping that someone would hear me. There was no response. After some more time, I don't know how long, rescue teams and ambulances arrived. Paramedics carried me, and I asked them about my children, my mother, and my brothers. To calm me down, they lied to me. They said that they'd rescued all of them and that they were all safe and fine. Later, they told me that my son and my mother were killed in the bombardment. My son was very young, but since the beginning of this war, he had the feeling that he was going to die. He talked to me about this feeling several times. Sometimes he would talk about it in front of my mother, and I would ask him to stop thinking about it because my mother was already very anxious, very stressed. I lost consciousness after learning about the killing of my child and my mother. The Israelis didn't warn us before bombarding the house. We just found ourselves under the rubble. They found my mum's body in our neighbor's house because of the intensity of the bombardment. All the men in my family were killed.